So just yesterday I made my video about Dr. Phil's ranch that he sends the kids who are featured on his show to, and how at this ranch quite a bit of horrible things have been going on for quite some time. Danielle Bregoli, aka Bhad Bhabie, is now leading the charge in getting this information out there after detailing her experience at the ranch and how some of the things she endured during her 6-month stay there really traumatized her. Others have also come forward with their own stories about this nightmare of a place, and now Dr. Phil is actually going to be responding to whatever has to say, and I'm gonna do a little live reaction for you guys. So grab some popcorn or your favorite snack, and let's see what this quack doctor really has to say. Alright guys, so here I am on the clip in question. I'm on this Banfield News Network website where they conducted this 45-minute interview with Dr. Phil. But don't worry guys, the part about Bhad Bhabie is really only about 5 minutes long. Just a little warning for you guys, this woman is gonna be talking and acting pretty ignorant throughout the course of this interview, and you can really tell she almost did no research. Let's just check it out.
So Phil, I'm reading the New York Post this weekend. I open up this story about a teen rapper named Bhabie, B-H-A.
All right, you already made a mistake. It's not Bhad Bhabie. It's Bhad Bhabie. I mean, it's really not that hard to get it right.
She says that I was on his show 5 years ago, and I was recommended to go off to this boot camp, and they were abusive at this boot camp. I want to play this, the soundbite from your show so everybody knows who this person is and what she was like at 13 years old. Her mom brought her on the show to say, I can't handle her anymore. So here's that moment off your show.
So I just want to stop the clip right there because I really wanted to focus on what they're really about to do here. In my mind, essentially what they're trying to do by introducing her with this crazy clip from about 4.5 years ago when she was only 13 on Dr. Phil's show is kind of like discredit her, basically say, oh, you know, this chick was crazy back in the day. She was acting out for attention back in the day. So let's just completely discredit everything she has to say, and let's just treat everyone as we would have treated them when they were some sort of 13-year-old brat.
Catch me outside, how about that? Catch me outside, how about
There's
that?
the famous line.
Boy, I had a vague recollection of that young. And by the way, let's remind everyone, that was 13. Not sure how I would have handled that 13-year-old if she were my 13-year-old.
Well, yeah, of course you're not sure how you would have handled it. Her own mother couldn't even handle her. I mean, that's kind of why they were in the situation. That's kind of why they even had to go on Dr. Phil in the first place. Like I already said in my last video, a lot of these kids have a lot of at-home problems. Maybe they've gone through some very traumatic events in their life. And overall, I think there's a reason for the most part when a kid acts out. It usually isn't just random. But yeah, let's put all the faults on the 13-year-old.
But let's talk about her and what she's now doing in her accusations. She says that the place that she was recommended to go was abusive to her, wouldn't let her sleep. What are your responses to her?
And that's actually the only accusation this woman ever brings up during this entire interview. She doesn't bring up the fact that the employees at this ranch were basically purposely trying to get the kids in trouble in order to get them to do more labor or even borderline abuse them. And she also never even brings up the sexual abuse allegations. I mean, I really just think this was some lazy journalism by this woman, and she's clearly very biased.
She went to Turnabout 4 or 5 years ago, and if she had a bad experience, you know, obviously I would hate that. We'd be sorry about that, but we don't have anything to do with what happens with guests once they leave the stage. I mean, that's between the guardian and the parent and whatever facility they go to. So
you see, I don't really get why Dr. Phil is saying that, when in reality, he's the one recommending these facilities. He's the one telling the parents, hey, this is the next step you should take if you want your kid to get better. So he uses these kids to make money, he makes them a public spectacle, and then he doesn't even want to follow up with their recovery journey. It sounds like he's basically going like this and wiping his hands clean of these kids when he's still responsible for putting them in this given situation.
We're not involved in that. We don't have any feedback from them. So whatever happens once they're there, that's between them and the facility. I assume she had a problem. She filed a complaint with the proper authorities or something 5 years ago.
So once again there, I mean, you would think a psychiatrist of all people would understand victim blaming, and now he's basically saying, hey, if she had a problem 5 years ago, you know, when she was just a small 13-year-old girl, hey, she should have filed a police report. She shouldn't have been scared. She shouldn't have felt powerless. She should have known exactly what to do. And also, none of it is my fault, by the way. I just tell them to go to this ranch. Whatever happens there afterwards, hey, I'm not in control of that. I mean, that's like my friend's car breaking down, right? And I'm like, hey man, don't worry about it. You know, I got this extra car right here. Very reliable. It's gonna fix all your problems. It's gonna take you from A to B to C. And then the car he's borrowing breaks down. He calls me and he's like, hey man, you know, the car broke down. And I'm like, oh bro, that sucks. That's not my problem. I told him to drive the car. I'm still at fault. I mean, I get that it's not totally his fault, but in giving this recommendation, you're enabling this behavior, dude.
I really don't know much about it.
Yeah,
so
sure.
There's the other issue is like when you have a child like that who is incorrigible. I mean, I just watched that behavior and I thought, wow, first of all, calling a group of people you don't know who are mostly your elders a bunch of and then saying, catch me outside, how about that? Meaning I'm going to beat you up outside. We didn't even show the part of the clip where she came at her mom on the stage.
I mean, just look at the way they're trying to delegitimize her case, trying to paint her in this light, you know, of this punk kid that she was when she was 13, when in reality she's now an 18-year-old woman and seems pretty articulate.
Because her mom said she was mouthy. You know, what do you do with young people like that? What else is there but some tough love, you know, at a ranch or where else?
You know, I don't know. How about better parenting, open communication, individual therapy for the kid, and maybe even group therapy for the kid and the parent? I mean, you don't just give up on them and hand them off to some stranger to do whatever they want to them. That seems like the last case solution.
Can't coddle kids like that.
Really? Because that's probably what they need.
Every situation is different, and there are a lot of these children, teenagers and adolescents that my approach has been, I don't ask myself why you're the way you are, I ask myself why not.
Oh yeah, you gotta love a therapist who doesn't ask, you know, why is this person the way they are? I would think that's one of the main questions you're asking, because until you know that information, you can't really get a level of understanding as to why they're acting the way they're acting. No? Maybe I'm the crazy one here, okay? I don't know. Sounds like Dr. Phil is completely not trying to take any accountability to me.
It was 5 years ago. I don't remember too much about it, but
bullshit.
You know, kids are raised in different environments, and you got to look at each case separately. Some of them were raised in a lot of chaos and a lot of turmoil, and so they do what they have to survive.
Well, at least he acknowledged that. I will say that, you know, that was one of the better parts of this interview from Dr. Phil.
But the real work starts, you know, once they get home and have to realign what they're doing. And it's not easy in this day and time. There's social media influences, fast-paced life. Kids grow up really fast these days.
You know
That's
what,
true.
Phil? I got to tell you, the more I hear from teachers and coaches and other parents of the behavior of kids at school. I mean, I thought it was shocking when a teacher told me, 5 or 6 years ago, that the kids regularly drop F-bombs at the teacher, telling them to F this and F you and all the rest, and that's normal.
God, this woman is such a Karen. I don't get why we go around acting like kids shouldn't curse. Right around the time I turned 10, 11, 12, I started cursing, and so did pretty much every other kid I knew. By the time I was in high school, everyone cursed. Maybe not at adults, they weren't saying fuck you, but honestly, there's so many more problems that we have to worry about than kids cursing. I mean, kids are influenced by so much bullshit these days. I mean, like Dr. Phil even said in this interview, social media has kids growing up very quickly, and it's really fucking with their minds. You know, I think that's a much bigger problem to tackle than them cursing in the classroom. And that's pretty much all he said in regards to these bad baby accusations. In his defense though, the interviewer was absolutely garbage. She seemed like she did not know what she was talking about at all and did absolutely zero research besides reading some sort of headline. Either way, I don't think that this apology was adequate enough. It'd be nicer to see a little sit down with Dr. Phil where he really talks about maybe not sending kids to this ranch anymore, or possibly doing a better job to monitor them after they leave his show, because in a way it is his responsibility. I mean, I know they sign up for the show and everything, but at the end of the day, he's the one making them a public spectacle. He's the one changing their whole life. So a little follow-up visit, even if it's a couple months or a year after they come on the show, doesn't sound too outrageous to me, to be honest with you. But hey, you know Dr. Phil, all he's ever seeing is those dollar signs. This man loves to capitalize on mental health problems, and now he's thrown some rocks and hit his hands. So I don't know, I'm still waiting for something a little bit more from this quack doctor. Let me know what you guys think about his response down below. As always, I want to thank you guys for watching today, and thank you for subscribing. It's been your boy, the Tan Superman, and I'm out. Peace!